This is your newsroom for today, Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. We're broadcasting to you on E1, SKAR TV, NTN, and TARZEE TV in Bartica. In the headlines, East Coast and East Bank Demerara housing lands filled. Soesdyke-Linden Highway earmarked for future developments. Traffic officials blame recklessness, not license corruption, for most road accidents.
I don't think that a man have to study a package to know that, look, putting a helmet on your head affords safety to your head.
Georgetown Public Hospital introduces life-changing shock therapy for mental health patients. Tourism operators urge new Minister Rodrigues to tackle high costs, poor facilities, and limited access. Reluctant witnesses and settlements outside court stall police efforts to secure justice. And in sport, TKR players reflect on their success in CPL 2025. With the news, I am Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. We start off by telling you that the government has exhausted available land for housing schemes along the East Coast and East Bank of Demerara, prompting a strategic shift of new developments to the Soesdyke-Linden Highway. The Minister of Housing, Colin Crowell, during a recent update on the government's ambitious housing drive, said Region 4, Guyana's most populated region, has reached its limit for land allocation. Crowell said the government is actively identifying new areas along the highway to meet the growing demand.
Everybody's been asking for land in Region 4, and there's only so much land that has been available, and we already have reached to the point of the conservancy, actually both on the East Coast and East Bank. And the shift in terms of occupancy in Region 4 will eventually have to shift to the Soesdyke Highway. So there are a number of areas we're looking at for development. We are currently going through in-house to review how we'll be able to do that, because as I said, we've reached to that point in Region 4 where we're saturated in terms of the housing schemes for Region 4 on East Coast and on East Bank.
Now, the Traffic Chief, Mahindra Singh, and Superintendent Ron Clark are pushing back against the perception that reckless drivers on the roadways purchase their license rather than earn them the legal way. Superintendent Clark, speaking on the matter during a recent Police and You episode, pointed to the behavior of some drivers as evidence that recklessness, not the lack of knowledge, is often the root cause of road accidents and fatalities. The Traffic Chief Singh echoed similar sentiments. According to the Traffic Chief, accountability in police corruption allegations must cut both ways.
When you look at persons driving on the road without a safety helmet, I don't think that a man have to study a package to know that, look, putting a helmet on your head affords safety to your head. Most of the accidents involving motorcyclists resulting in them after being injured is head injuries. And that in itself either cause them to lose their life or remain in hospital for some lengthy period. So, that is a perception. The thing is that what persons try to bamboozle the police on is that they themselves are a part of the nonsense that is happening on the roadways and then try to come up with some form of excuse. You studying a package, sometimes I do listen to persons who were involved in accidents. Approach an intersection, they know to read very well. Stop. And they're going to tell you that they saw the stop sign, but they slowed down. And in the process of crossing, a collision occurred. You have to study a license to know that you have to stop. So the thing is that it's all about you as an individual. The vehicles cannot travel fast unless you accelerate.
The acquisition of a license is procedurally set out from the moment you express the interest and you attain the age. How you go about getting the package, your self-study. The exam is sat in a room which is covered by invigilators who are non-traffic personnel, by CCTV cameras. There's a unique ID number to each applicant who purchases the package online to sit the exam. The results are almost immediate. The same questions that you sit and write in the same exam room, the person sitting next to you might not have the same questions. That takes away from the bias that you could cheat. Yes, of course, number one being C. But your number one is not the same one as the other person. All of these things were built into the system, a question bank, to improve the integrity of the process. That's the theoretical aspect. The practical aspect is covered by, we have the civilian input via the Cops and Faith Community Network. This builds into it more integrity, that quality assurance is guaranteed. So it's not just a subjective activity of the police that it lends credence to the fact that we are selling anything or doing anything otherwise. And if you have evidence, come forward. Because as much as the police would be accused of something, you're also putting your hand in something too. You're equally culpable and involved.
We tell you now that a Cuban national and construction worker died on Monday after a 15-foot fence collapsed at Bachelor's Adventure, East Coast, Demerara. The Minister of Labour and Manpower Planning, Keoma Griffith, made an emergency visit to the construction site, during which he said he's deeply concerned about workplace casualties.
A construction accident claimed the life of 28-year-old Derovis Martinez Mendoza, a Cuban national and construction worker of 15th Street, Falls, East Coast, Demerara, on Monday at a private property along the Bachelor's Adventure Railway embankment, East Coast, Demerara. The accident occurred at about 11:30 hours. Minister of Labour and Manpower Planning, Keoma Griffith, later made an emergency visit to the site where he emphasized concerns over safety and health at work sites.
A life has been lost, and so we are concerned. Of course, there is no circumstance by which we would ever wish for somebody to die on a work site. But the safety and health of every worker is of extreme importance to not only my ministry, but this government. So for now, we're awaiting more information while the police officers conduct the investigation, and we're just trying to get as much information as possible.
Investigations revealed that a 49-year-old Chinese businessman had leased the property from its owner, Carlos Paul, under a 40-year agreement signed on October 7, 2024. The site was being developed for the construction of a supermarket and residential quarters. The Chinese businessman, who has over 15 years of experience in construction, told police he had personally supervised work for the past 2 months, the day of the accident. According to eyewitness accounts, several Spanish-speaking workers were on the site when the eastern fence wall, approximately 15 feet high and 120 feet long, suddenly collapsed. Mendoza was pinned beneath the rubble. Emergency responders, including police and the Guyana Fire Service, rushed to the scene. They broke through the collapsed structure to pull Mendoza out, but he was already lifeless. The body of Mendoza was removed by undertakers from the Memorial Gardens funeral home, where it now awaits a post-mortem examination. The site was thoroughly searched to ensure no other workers were trapped, but no additional casualties were reported. This was an added concern of the ministers, and he said the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development promptly assisted by providing an excavator that aided in the removal of the rubble.
In the coming days, I intend to visit as much sites as I can as possible. This office has also been decentralized, and so in every region, an office has been set up to ensure, well, with occupational health and safety workers, to ensure that regular inspections are being conducted.
The government will conduct spot checks at work sites to make sure all measures are taken to protect the health and safety of workers. For the newsroom, Lizzie Yearwood.
Now, electric shock therapy or electroconvulsive therapy, ECT, is now being offered at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, marking a major milestone in the country's mental health care system. It offers a new life-changing treatment option for individuals with severe psychiatric conditions.
Electroconvulsive therapy ECT, a psychiatric treatment, has recently been introduced to the Georgetown Public Hospital. Already, 28 patients with complex psychiatric conditions, such as a major depressive episodes, schizophrenia, and catatonia, have been successfully treated.
ECT involves passing of electric current through the brain, which results in the triggering of a seizure. It's recommended for patients who have treatment-resistant schizophrenia, patients who have treatment-resistant depression, but also patients who are acutely ill, very violent, and that you need urgent treatment or you need something to work very fast for them. We also treat patients who are suicidal.
Dr. Dodson, a resident in psychiatry, explained that ECT is administered once a patient with severe depression who have tried multiple treatments, including antidepressant medications, but experience no improvement.
It really offers another alternative for patients because previously, before doing ECT, we would just have to stop at medication that's not working. Let's say we probably would have exhausted all of the medication options that we have, and patients still they don't get better because they are resistant to the treatment. And so this offers or allows us to go a bit beyond there to try another thing, to try another treatment to see, if we can get our patients to improve. And it actually really works. It does work.
Before a patient is given the therapy, they would have to go through a comprehensive screening. Tests are also done to rule out other medical conditions that could complicate the process. The treatment is done under general anesthesia and on Tuesdays and Fridays at the hospital.
So ECT has 3 techniques. There's unilateral, there's bifrontal, there's bitemporal. And so what that basically tells us is where we're going to place these probes. So unilateral is on one side of the head, and bifrontal, well, it's on the forehead, bitemporal to the temples, right? And so these are what we use to deliver the shock. Well, I didn't turn on the machine, but it actually prints out a paper here. And so on this paper, you're going to see the seizure, the signs of the seizure here. And it has a specific amount of time that it's supposed to last as well. After we finish and the patient is conscious and everything, then we take the patient outside.
A common ECT side effect is short-term memory loss. Currently, GPHC only treats adult patients. The hospital has also collaborated with the Center for Global Health at Northwell Health to train local doctors on administering ECT therapy and also donated equipment.
A lot of times, gynaes are very scared to receive treatment, even as simple as an injection. Well, we understand some people may have a fear of injection, right? But gynaes are always very, standoff when it comes to medication or treatment or whatever. So I think you would kind of expect that also, given this type of treatment, how it is that it's going to induce a seizure in the patient and all of that. But I think that with more education and with us talking more about how it's actually done, I think it would help people to have a better understanding of it.
For Newsroom, Isanello Patwo.
Now, hoteliers and tour operators on Monday met with the newly appointed Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, Minister Rodrigues, raising long-standing concerns about access to attractions, rising transportation costs, and inadequate in this report.
It was Minister Rodrigues' second public engagement since assuming her new portfolio as the new Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, but industry players seized the opportunity to highlight persistent challenges during discussions at the Arthur Chang Convention Centre. Jessica John of Singing Chef Adventures said visitors are often left disappointed when they cannot access some of Guyana's most iconic landmarks.
St George's Cathedral, it's not open. And they go there and it's listed as one of the top 10 things to do in Georgetown, but it's always shut, except for Sunday mornings and a Wednesday. The rum tour, I've tried repeatedly to book a rum tour with El Dorado and have not been successful. And yet every country that actually manufactures rum has a vibrant rum tour industry centered in the tourism industry.
Travel accessibility was another key concern. Region 8 tour operator Luana Augustus noted that frequent airfare hikes make it difficult to plan affordable packages.
With the constant flight price hikes that we've been experiencing with little or no notice, that has been something that we've been, trying to work around in terms of our pricing for our packages. The other thing well, it would also fall under accessibility. And I know maybe it would be far-fetched for some people, but I think with the direction that our country is going in within the next 10 years, that we really should start looking into a train system.
Minister Rodrigues acknowledged the complaints, stressing that public facilities must remain open and available.
We've made it clear that no government agency, ministry, or public office is to be closed for lunch. We've said this maybe before 2020, but at least I know in 2020 we said that. So our staff is working on a rotation basis during lunch. We do not close for lunch. So if some people did not get the memo, we'll have to resend that and drive that message home.
She added that although government removed VAT from hinterland travel, the intended benefit was not passed on to communities, a situation the administration is not pleased about. New road links are also being developed to connect regions 8 and 9, she noted. Tourism operators further raised the absence of basic amenities such as washrooms at key tourist sites, saying this continues to frustrate visitors. Infrastructure, they stressed, remains a major obstacle to the sector's growth. In response, Minister Rodrigues assured the stakeholders that the government is committed to addressing these issues through targeted investments to develop and modernize the tourism sector. For the newsroom, Lazina Yearwood.
Still to come on the newsroom, ExxonMobil greenlights $6.8 billion Hammerhead project, boosting Guyana's oil output to 1.5 million barrels per day, and reluctant witnesses and settlements outside court stall police efforts to secure justice. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the newsroom. ExxonMobil has confirmed its final investment decision for the $6.8 billion Hammerhead development, the seventh offshore project in Guyana's Stabroek Block, following government's approval of the field development plan and the issuance of a petroleum production license earlier this week. Hammerhead, discovered in 2018, is expected to begin production in 2029 and will add 150,000 barrels of oil per day to Guyana's output, pushing the country's total installed production capacity on the Stabroek Block to 1.5 million barrels per day. In its announcement, ExxonMobil said that the Hammerhead project will be developed using a floating production, storage, and offloading vessel converted from a very large crude carrier, with production supported by 10 production wells and 8 injection wells. The development represents $6.8 billion in fresh capital investment, strengthening Guyana's position as the world's fastest growing oil producer. The project will also integrate with the gas-to-energy pipeline, transferring associated gas to support the government's energy diversification plans. The final investment decision comes as ExxonMobil's local content performance continues to draw praise. In the first half of 2025 alone, the company spent a record $87 billion Guyana dollars with 1,800 Guyanese vendors, bringing its total local spend since 2015 to more than $600 billion Guyana dollars. The company also reports that 70% of its workforce in Guyana is now made up of locals, supported by more than 370,000 hours of training. Hammerhead joins 6 other sanctioned developments offshore Guyana, further consolidating the Stabroek Block's role as the backbone of the country's oil sector. Together, these projects signal a deepening of ExxonMobil's footprint and a strengthening of Guyana's global energy position. Senior police officers from multiple regions are raising the alarm over persistent hurdles in securing successful prosecutions. Key challenges include reluctant witnesses, victims opting to settle serious matters out of court, and difficulties in accessing crucial evidence. Assistant Commissioners Kali Parshram of Region 4C, Dion Moore of Region 7, and Curly Simon of Region 10 each detail the obstacles their divisions face in ensuring justice is served.
In terms of our prosecution, a lot of persons will say it depends solely on the police because how they conduct the investigations. And as recent, there were some deliberations on social media. The thing is, the police is just the person responsible for the investigation. And in the magistrates or the High Court, it solely depends on what you have in black and white or via technology to present in court. The thing is, what I would have observed in Regional Division 4C is that we would have seen over the past few months, and in fact, or I could go back to 2 years, an increased number of matters being dismissed due to the negligence of witnesses. 1, witnesses are not appearing in court, and 2, some victims are now going to court to settle their matters. We would have seen matters as serious as robberies now being settled in court, which is not something that used to be.
You find that persons, witnesses, eyewitnesses to crime, are very reluctant to come forward and to put their story in statement form so that could form part of the investigation, so that you could have one successful investigation and lead into a prosecution of any matter. And regardless of how you try sometimes, that it's very difficult to get persons to come forward. A victim might come forward and say, you know what, this person, that person, this person was there. When you contact them, I did not see. Or I don't want my name to call in any matter. I don't want to be involved. Additionally, even with trying to get CCTV footage from private individuals and maybe business places that have CCTV, it's kind of difficult to get those footage to assist with your investigation. So the challenge can be very real. What we try to do, and I guess this is across the board in the police force, is to, as much as possible, build capacity in terms of doing training, continuous training for investigators and police ranks in general, so that they can bring their skill to bear when doing any investigation.
What we find in matters that engage the High Court, Ever so often, when you have to locate a witness and you turn up at the area or the last known address, the person no longer live there. So it put the police in a difficult situation finding that witness. But other than that, the convictions that we would have gotten, they're quite a high amount over the years.
The newly appointed Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, Soesdyke-Linden Rodrigues, is aiming to put Guyana's tourism sector on a stronger, more predictable path. With a well-planned national calendar of events and competitive pricing, Rodrigues hopes visitors can plan ahead while enjoying year-round experiences across the country. Speaking in her first in-depth interview since taking office, she described her move from the Ministry of Housing and Water to the Tourism and Commerce Ministry as a chance to innovate, learn, and play a pivotal role in diversifying Guyana's economy.
You have been a minister within the People's Progressive Party, Civic Party, and now you have transitioned into being the Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce. What has that transition been like for you, and how are you being able to keep upbeat with what is happening in the industry?
So I'm honored to be serving for second term under the leadership of President Ali. I believe in his vision and in his plan for Guyana. So I was honored to serve in the housing and water sector in his first term and to return now in a new portfolio. It gives me a unique opportunity to learn something new, to participate in a sector that is completely new to me, tourism, industry, and commerce, but one that I find extremely exciting, one that allows me to think outside the box, to be creative, and to work with stakeholders that I view as very important to our economy.
Coming from an industry, well, a ministry where you would have gone, doing everything more so with a lot of agencies that fell directly under the ministry. Now these are more so private sector workers that the ministry will be working with. How are you ready and prepared to really work with these persons?
I have a good working relationship, I think, with people, with the private sector. I come from a private sector background myself, and there are a lot of unique opportunities for investment by the private sector that is missing from the tourism industry. A lot of areas that people have not tapped into. One of the ways that we have identified to do that is to ensure that we have a calendar of events on an annual basis, so that they can plan and so that we can market these events, and any visitor or tourist coming to Guyana must be able to access information and experiences that they can have while in Guyana. We've asked the hotels to look at a price cap of about $200 a night for Guyanese. So it doesn't matter whether you're a resident in Guyana or you're a non-resident. If you're from the diaspora, you should be able to come to Guyana and stay in pre-list hotels that have agreed that they are not going to exceed $200 a night.
Right. Thank you for that. And you mentioned earlier that a part of your mandate directly from the president is to ensure that the hotels are fully booked and that the visitor turnout is higher than previously noted. Obviously, this would require a lot of work. As you've mentioned, you are already hitting the ground running basically here. Do you anticipate this being something that you fully will be able to accomplish?
Definitely. I have the president's support in ensuring that this gets done. He understands, as a former minister of tourism, industry, and commerce himself, which I'm privileged to be serving in both of his portfolios, first at housing and now in this new portfolio at the Ministry of Tourism, Industry and Commerce. So
I believe the president understands this sector. He understands the important role that it has to play in the transition of our economy and the diversification of our economy.
The newly appointed minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, Vanessa Ben, is wasting no time laying out an ambitious plan to help shape Guyana's housing sector into one that is greener, more efficient, and built to last.
Vanessa Ben recently took the oath of office as the minister within the Ministry of Housing. She said her mission is to broaden the ministry's work beyond a rapid expansion of housing areas to include environmental sustainability, high-quality construction, and smoother services for citizens. One of her key priorities is greening housing spaces and linking the sector more closely with forestry to promote the use of lesser-known wood species in construction.
The Ministry of Housing has always talked about, how do we have a space to improve the lives of our people. And so my intent is that whilst we look at the work that they have been doing so well for over the years, how do we broaden that scope? How do we use the lesser used wood species in the construction? And Guyanese can have, we don't just think about Kabukali and Greenheart, but there's the Wamara, there are many other species that we can use that are beautiful, that kind of, showcase the exotic woods that we have. And we can have the use of those and provide more employment for people within the forestry sector, people within the joinery sector, and so on.
But sustainability is only part of Ben's vision. She is also committed to ensuring better construction standards and addressing defects in homes previously handed over to citizens. Efficiency in service delivery is another one of her priorities.
One of the things that we want to address is to ensure that there aren't defects. And so that's why we're doing the walkthroughs, because it's more than just the staff having to be able to, have that eye and to monitor and evaluate the progress at which these buildings are being constructed, but helping them in that process as well. Because there's some things that sometimes cannot be addressed at the level of a manager or something. And in whatever way, Minister and I are quite intent on helping to address issues, whether it's with regard to policy, to helping persons to be able to improve things at all the different levels of the work of the ministry. Quality work does require more time, but at the same time, too, there's a whole effort. From the time I've joined this ministry, from just a few days ago, a week now, for the staff, all the heads of department coming together to see how we can work a lot more efficiently. Government is also providing that support, and how do we digitize the systems, how do we ensure that the citizens at the departments, which are different agencies that are part of the process of land application, getting building plans approved and so on, how that can work a lot more efficiently. And so the time during which, from the time of the application, when you submit your plan, to when it is approved, that moves along, along a pathway that is a lot more efficient, and persons don't have that kind of frustration. And so being here I think is a two-way street, for the want of a better description, not just us looking to the staff and ensuring that they deliver, but whatever challenges the staff of the Ministry of Housing has, how can we assist them in being able to overcome that? So it's a big team effort.
Ben says success will depend on teamwork, not just among staff, but in creating a ministry that supports both employees and the public. Though only days into her tenure, Ben said she's already working closely with heads of departments to enhance internal processes and speed up land allocation, promising that quality work takes time, but the effort is underway. Reporting for the newsroom, Shara Bacchus.
When the newsroom returns, the financial, weather, and bridge reports, along with sport. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Newsroom. Now for a look at what's happening in sport. We're starting us off with reactions from the sidelines of CPL 2025. The left-arm spinner Akil Hussain won his second CPL title when Trinbago Knight Riders defeated Guyana Amazon Warriors on Sunday at the National Stadium, Providence. According to Hussain, this triumph is the best as it was hurt in the past when they had star-studded teams but could not clinch the title. In the coming days, the former West Indies under-19 player will captain West Indies in a 3-match T20 series against Nepal in the United Arab Emirates.
Congrats on TKR winning the title yet again. This is your second. Probably this one's the best one.
Yeah. I mean, to have the title elude us for so long, 5 years, with star-studded players in your team, it's always going to be painful when you walk away and there's no trophy to show with such powerful lineup and big names. So really happy to get over the line today.
How impactful, I guess, was your innings with the bat? I remember one time I spoke to you. I remember somebody, you was a very good West Indies on a 19 batsman. You came out that 16 or so, changed the dynamics of the game and won the game for TKR.
I mean, sometimes when you break into senior teams at quite a young age, you're not going to get that opportunity. I remember my first couple T20 matches, we had the likes of A.B. de Villiers, Kane Williamson and those guys in your team. You're not going to get an opportunity to bat early. But, you know, I'm fortunate enough to be around guys like the best in the world in our team, Russell, Pollard, you know, legends of the game. And I've been doing a lot of work with Polly because now my situation is sort of switched. I'm going to have to come in and try to finish some innings. So I've been doing a lot of work with him. And, you know, I'm just going to try and gather all the information and knowledge from these guys and help me to become a better player.
And from humble beginnings in Trinidad, I know Polly would have played a big part in getting to where you are, you know, West Indies captain. You look at your life, what is, you know, gone to in the years. How happy are you with that kind of output?
I think I'm pretty happy with where I am in life so far. You know, I always say it's not about where you come from, it's where you're going. And I'm very fortunate to have guys like Polly, Sunil, Bravo in my corner. And these guys give you experience on and off the field, you know, cricket and non-cricketing things. So that's really good to have, you know, these sort of players around you to guide you and help you to be a better human being first and then become a better cricketer. So I'm very thankful to have those guys around.
Now, Trinbago Knight Riders' success in the 2025 CPL represented the first occasion they won the title outside of Trinidad and Tobago. For the off-spinning all-rounder Sunil Narain, the Knight Riders were under pressure to lift the trophy outside of their familiar hunting ground.
Sunil, when it the globe, how does it feel to win CPL for the first time in 5 years?
It feels good. It's the first outside of Trinidad, so I think we're under pressure to try to win outside of Trinidad, and thankfully God gave us the health and strength to go there and deliver the goal.
Were you surprised that the Warriors opted to bat first on this wicket?
I mean, everybody have different plans and different ways of going cricket. I mean, they could have probably make 190 would have been a brilliant idea, but I think the bowlers went out there and do what they had to do. I mean, it came down a little too close for comfort, but at the end of the day, a win is a win.
What would you say was the driving force behind the success of TKR this season?
I think the full support of everyone. I think the determination to actually win. I think we put a lot of planning and organization into everything and just going out there and perform.
And after playing a pivotal role with some crucial knocks this season, the veteran batsman Colin Munro has attributed TKR's recent Caribbean success to the team's depth and experience.
What's it like bringing that experience into the TKR group, and how happy is it, you know, to be a part of this winning posse?
Yeah, I think at the start of the tournament, no one, you know, obviously we've got some really, you know, we've got legends of the game in our team, but age was on our side, and everyone said that we were too old to win a trophy, and it's nice to show some people that, you know, age is just a number, and yeah, we've played some good cricket along the way, and we've relied on different people, and everyone's put their hand up, whether it's on the bench or whether it's on the field. You know, this is a really squad performance.
Yeah, I know you guys kind of blank out outside noise a lot, but it seems it probably got in. It was a big motivator this season.
Yeah, it is. Obviously coming here to Guyana as well. You know, I think I wasn't here in 2023, I think it was, when TKR lost the final here, and the carry on it was when Guyana won. So that was motivation for us. But, you know, again, like we said from game one, that we are our worst enemy in terms of, you know, people are going to always come out and try and beat TKR. They always have. They've always tried, and you know, we've played good cricket at the right times, and that's you know, everyone's celebrating really well. So it's an enjoyable night.
The experienced globe-trotting all-rounder Andre Russell said TKR's success this season is a direct result of a total team effort by everyone involved with the franchise. While he scored just 89 runs in 8 innings, Russell had a bigger impact with the ball, taking 12 wickets, the third most by a TKR player, behind Usman Tariq and Akil Hussain.
You told us you badly needed this cup. Yeah. It must be so satisfying to be champions again here.
You know, it's been a few years now since, you know, we've been fighting and, you know, didn't get the result that we want. And tonight I think everyone is happy and, you know, we're just excited that, you know, all the hard work that we put in leading up to this tournament, from the camp right to the final. And, you know, I just want to say well done to everyone. You know, I have some lovely teammates here, the support staff, been amazing. And, you know, we can't do nothing without having a good behind the scene unit. And I'm talking about coach, assistant coach, bowling coach, spin bowling coach, you know, a good masseuse, you know, physio, trainer, everyone. So I just want to say well done. And, you know, the manager have been very, very well as well. You know, he make our life easier. So I'm happy, you know, I'm definitely wearing this straight to Jamaica. So happy days.
What do you say was the driving force behind the success of TKR this season? Because it seems like you guys really wanted it.
Yeah, of course. Just like Guyana, you know, they wanted it. And, you know, for you know, the final to be played here at a stadium like this where, you know, it's Guyana support, maybe we have 5 or 10% support out of everyone, you know, that was here. So, you know, when you're doing well, you know, the crowd is quiet. And that's one of our goals, you know, leading up to this game.
And after suffering a heartbreaking defeat in the 2023 CPL final at the hands of the Guyana Amazon Warriors, fast bowler Ali Khan has found solace. The USA international expressed joy at returning to the same venue, the National Stadium Providence, and winning CPL with the Trinbago Knight Riders. The fast bowler had limited opportunities during the previous stints with the Guyana Amazon Warriors before his move to TKR, where he has become a key member of the bowling attack.
What's it like to be a CPL champion?
Yeah, you know, definitely didn't get to play much this year, but keep putting in the work behind the scenes. And yeah, I was ready whenever team needed me, but luckily they didn't need me, so they win the trophy, and I was watching from outside, but still part of the team with the Knight Riders. You know, this is my 3rd trophy. Feels really, you know, proud and honored to be part of this setup, and yeah, really amazing feeling. And especially winning the 5th trophy here, it's really amazing feeling.
How more amazing is it that you started out with the Amazon Warriors? You had you know, a bit of time, did not much opportunities to come here and to beat the Amazon Warriors at the Fortress.
Yeah, I mean, I was, of course, you know, my first CPL was with the Guyana Amazon Warriors 2016, 2017. You know, still thankful for that opportunity back in the days, but. Yeah, I still remember, you know, performing against them in 2018 final, you know, getting the wicket on the first ball of the final. I remember those key moments. We win against Warriors in Trinidad. Then, you know, for a recent memory of 2023 final, when they won against us, I was bowling the last ball and I got hit for 6, and you guys celebrated like crazy. So I still had a fresh memory, and yeah, coming back here, winning, you know, Amazon Warriors, such a good team on their home ground with the crowd on their back. It was really a tough job for us to do, and the way the boys played today was really amazing.
And in his maiden appearance in CPL, Pakistani off-spinner Usman Tariq emerged as TKR's leading wicket taker with 20 scalps, 3 less than Imran Tahir's tournament-leading 23. The 27-year-old Tariq was elated with his performance, which helped the franchise to an unprecedented 5th title. Tariq also briefly spoke about his unique bowling action.
Coming here to the Caribbean and winning CPL, how big a moment is this for you?
Honestly, like words cannot express this experience, because when you just join a new team, and you just make a huge role to win this tournament, like winning cause. So it's like a proud moment for me, for my family, and out there in Pakistan, and as well as like in the Trinity, people really loved it, and I really appreciate their love and their affection towards cricket and towards us. So it was like a great feeling, great experience, and I'm really happy to going back with lots of memories.
What's the experience like playing here in the Caribbean?
Yeah, actually, I just felt that there's a different kind of conditions here, different pitches, different atmosphere. I just felt that how the atmosphere like was in the Caribbean, like it was quite like warm, and the pitch was quite slow. So usually, like we used to bowl on such kind of surface where like balls skid through. So like there is huge experience to take on, and I'll have to go back to Pakistan, that experience we're going to work.
And finally, just tell us a bit about that bowling action. Is that something naturally or something you developed over the years?
To be very honest, it's like naturally, because like developing such kind of thing is like really hard. But this is like natural thing, and I'm like, going with the same action from the beginning, from the day like I've started the cricket. So this is how it is.
Thank you and enjoy.
Thank you.
And with that, we've come to the end of the news for this evening. Of course, you can find updates on these and other stories on our website, newsroom.gy, and all social media platforms. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching. Be safe. See you next time.